Hey, this is Betsy.
And this is Gina, and this is the Lost and Found podcast.
Our podcast is really a labor of love, and it came about a couple years ago when we recognized that we have some incredibly interesting, passionate entrepreneurs. We're making this for you guys. If you're listening, we've made this for you because it's created for our alumni community. These are small business owners and entrepreneurs. We're in the trenches together, but the stories that we can share, I think, will help you feel less alone, get you inspired, maybe even inspire you to connect with these people.
Real stories from real entrepreneurs in small communities. Welcome back to the Lost and Found podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Emma Fretheim. Emma is the project specialist for Threedom, a company or a part of the DI Labs program that we're going to hear all about today. Also, Emma recently just went through our business reinvention program that we had this fall. It was an awesome opportunity to learn a little bit more about you, to learn about Threedom, and also gave us a bit of a sneak peek on where you're going to be taking that company, which is super exciting. So thank you, Emma, and welcome to the Lost and Found podcast.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys.
So, Emma, how long have you been with Threedom?
5 months, something around there.
All right. And it's been a whirlwind.
It has a little bit, yeah.
So Business Reinvention, which is our 10-week program that kind of helps business owners dive in deeper to their businesses, but also we challenge them to look at it in a totally different way. We challenge them to think outside of the box than they maybe would typically do and to step outside of their day-to-day business and take a look from the outside. So being brand new at your Threedom position, this is a super unique opportunity. And I think it turned out to be a really cool challenge because you had an existing business. You were new stepping into it, but then we also challenged you to look at it in completely different ways. So now it kind of feels like maybe you're going to build it into something, lead it into something of your own, or build it into something maybe not of your own, but you're going to give it a whole new direction.
Yeah. I think that the timing of everything was really perfect. I had just gotten to know the company. I gotten to know staff, and I started to try out new things that helped me lead some choices. And what reinvention really allowed me to do is see that it's not about technical, it's not about functionality, it's really about individuals and the customers. And that's something I remember during one of our meetings. I think it was the hard questions. You were drilling me with hard questions, and I could not understand that the foundation is just joy, and you're providing individuals with something that allows them to express themselves. And I really just looked at it as a functionality. It's something that people buy. It's consumerism. But I didn't understand the joy. And during the reinvention program, really close to that time, we had the opportunity to go to a Jeep event. And the timeline of everything, just looking back, it was perfect on building the new vision of Threedom.
It's funny how things just kind of work out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially when you go in open, you went into it open and ready. I can't imagine how overwhelming that must have been. You're learning who your team is, you're learning about the business, and then we throw you into reinvention as well. Well, before we get a little bit further into the Threedom story, let's start with an official introduction. So let's hear, in reinvention, you got to work on your why.
Yes, I did.
Let's hear about the why, and then you can tell us a little bit about what Threedom is.
Yeah. My why is I believe in the power of self-expression. I really value diversity, and I value individuals being themselves. That's really what it's all about. I think in this time, in the society, in the world, we really need to be true to ourselves. And there's so many different opinions, but what really can be fulfilling in life is just being true to yourself and living the life that you want to live. And so to me, being able to express yourself in however way, if it's a a plastic cap on your Jeep, or if it's going to political events, if it's whatever it is, it's just, that's what it means. And I think that's a phenomenal way to live a life. So, yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
And did you see that fit with your particular why and Threedom going into your new position? Did you have a sense that you'd be able to kind of feel good about that alignment?
I did not. When I took the position, I saw a huge growth opportunity for Threedom. I didn't necessarily see the consumer perspective and what the overall purpose is. Purpose is really important to me, to be passionate. And throughout me understanding the company, it allowed me to really gain that knowledge and that passion and drive for why is it important, because I think all of us want important work. And so if we're able to find that, I can't say that I took the job because I knew this is what exactly, that's not what it was. I saw a great opportunity, amazing driven individuals that work there, and a bunch of other things, but it was something that I learned over time, and I greatly appreciate the reinvention program because that really flushed it out, and it makes me so passionate about Threedom now.
Tell us about Threedom. For people who are listening and they don't know,
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, Threedom is an aftermarket automotive accessory company. It's a 3D printing company that allows us to print any design onto our products. So we have handles for Jeeps, we have keycaps, some key fobs that shrink the original fob down to 30% of the size of the original fob. So it's really just accessories for Jeeps at the moment that give that opportunity to express yourself with colors or designs.
So I was just going to say, but before you said that, I'm like, okay, so that sounded like the technical version. So now let's hear the connected to your why version.
Why.
What is Threedom?
Threedom, I'll tell you a story at an event. We went to Myrtle Beach for a Jeep event. It was
fun.
Jeep Jam. I know, right? What job can you just go to the beach? I mean, it's lucky, right?
Sounds great.
Yeah. One morning, it was right before we were about to start our vending process, and there was a couple that came along, and they were really ingrained in the Jeep community, but we had a keycap that was a Puerto Rican flag, and they mentioned that they could not find anything Puerto Rican at this event. I think there were probably 30, 40 vendors at least, and they couldn't find anything that helped to identify themselves within this large community. And being able to provide that happiness for those individuals, that made my day. And that's something that I really remember when, replying to customers or thinking about the future of Threedom, of being able to provide a sense of self within a community. And so you can expose a part of yourself to a community that accepts you. And so if we can provide something that represents someone, I think that's all what it's about.
It's all about that personal expression. That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
And you're in a niche of a Jeep community that's why they're there, right? Tell us a little bit about the Jeep culture and why you're a fit for that.
Yeah, Jeep culture. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that.
Right.
You could have someone that is completely opposite from the person next to them, and they love each other. They are just complimenting each other's Jeeps, giving each other crap for not having a lift that's a certain height. I mean, it's just such a diverse community that allows people to express whatever they want with no judgment. And it's extremely powerful to be in a community like that.
So people buy Jeeps just knowing that it's going to be modified. That's the purpose of buying it, is to modify it to reflect your individual, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. People will buy Jeeps and completely deck it out to match a theme. So there was someone at the last event who had a turtle themed Jeep. They had a giant, realistic turtle decal on the side, and they had all these little accents that were turtles, and they really like turtles. And why not express that? If that gives you joy, if you walk out of work and see a vehicle that just gives you joy or provides joy to other people, what is better to have? And so people do buy Jeeps to personalize them, to give them happiness And to be in a community, a lot of people know about this community through the ducking experience that happened during COVID. And so being able to show joy within something that people see every single day is amazing.
So the Jeep is the tool for self-expression. So
The Jeep is it's the gateway
Catalyst.
to this like community. Gets you in, and then you can take it from there.
that's crazy.
I know.
It's really
it's an expensive tool.
It is. But you're saying, it's people, like the Jeep is the common denominator, and these people are like from all across the country,
The world.
the world. They have totally different lives, passions, viewpoints, political standpoints, ages. Like it's every walk of life, but they have a Jeep. That's
Yep.
the common denominator. So that brings them all together.
Yep. You fit in by standing out.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Wow. I want to go to a Jeep event.
Yeah, I know. They're fun.
Gotta sign up.
That sounds like a great time.
It is.
So Threedom is a company of DI Labs.
Correct.
And DI Labs is here in Willmar, and it's an additive manufacturing company.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about, well, let's get a little bit into DI Labs, but really I want to know about how you found DI Labs, how they found you to run with Threedom.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the relationship with Threedom and DI Labs?
DI Labs is a parent company, if you will, to Threedom. One of the founders of DI Labs, Carl, got a Gladiator, and he hated the key fob. And something that is part of the culture at DI Labs is finding a solution. And so he was able to find a solution, and he turned to a Jeep forum on the internet and asked, hey, does anyone else feel like this, or is this just me? And it turns out a lot of people did. And so Carl was able to take this problem and give a solution. And that's what kind of cultivated the Threedom community and the products we have now. While it was
Very cool.
Yeah, it was functional at first, in transition to fit the Jeep community and giving self-expression. So that's kind of how Threedom fits within DI Lab, and everyone who works at DI Labs is somehow involved with Threedom. And so it's a really awesome opportunity and workplace.
But you're kind of the first person assigned just to Threedom.
Yeah. Yep.
So we're taking this company, we're taking it to the next level.
Heck yeah, we are.
All right. I like it. So what brought you to DI Labs? How did you find DI Labs? Like, I think for a lot of our businesses that are part of the Lost and Found podcast, are part of the Unacademy community, we're in small rural areas throughout Minnesota. And oftentimes people are looking maybe for new hires or, bring somebody into their team. And I'm just so curious how Emma from DeCorah found her way up into Willmar, up into DI Labs. And I kind of want to talk about that journey and being a young professional in this community. So what brought you here?
Yeah, so when I graduated college, I knew I wanted to be in a smaller company that had potential to grow. That was something that I was really looking for. I was looking for startups, some that were in California, some that were in the Midwest. What really drove me to decide to go to DI Labs is the passion and the start of DI Labs. The individuals that work there are incredible critical thinkers, and that's something for me that is super critical. I don't want to have boring work. I don't want to have something that is not meaningful. If I'm able to contribute to society in some way, that is what is most important to me. Even if it's giving joy to someone, that's really meaningful because I'm making an impact on a really tiny piece of the earth, and that's meaningful to me. Being in Willmar is, it's bigger than DeCorah. So I stepped up. I know, right?
I didn't know that.
There's more restaurants, like
How
fast
big
food
is
chain.
DeCorah?
7,000.
Okay.
So I stepped up in the world. There's a Jimmy John's.
Congratulations.
I know, right? I traveled an hour and a half to get Jimmy John's or Taco Bell, and now I can drive like 3 minutes and get it. So it's a win for me.
This is a win.
I know. And
Okay.
there's lakes. That's crazy.
Oh, the area is beautiful.
Yeah.
But I have to go back to, like, how did you find DI Labs? Was it a posting? Was it a listing? Did somebody reach out to you? Were you studying in a certain department that it fit? Like, how did you find that listing?
I applied online. It was a posting that I found.
Okay.
I knew what markets I was kind of looking for. I wanted something that was technology driven. I like to market myself at that time as a marketing technologist. And so if I can combine my two passions of marketing and technology, that's really what drove me. And the listing articulated more so that there were multiple components to this role. And I'm a type of person that wants a bunch of tasks that don't have anything to do with each other. If I can have 10 varying tasks a day or more that are just all over the place, that's perfect for me. So if I have a really unique role that I don't have to just do one thing, that's really important to me.
That's what keeps you sharp.
Yeah. If I can have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of tasks, a lot of pressure of some sort, and yeah, having my mind in multiple places at once, I'll have the most successful work.
Man, that's awesome.
That is. It's incredible.
So when you first did your interview in Willmar, what did you think?
Well, I had a couple online interviews, and I was able to see the facilities online. And during one of my interviews, I was able to see the layout. And I previously had experience within 3D printing companies that I did marketing for. But I also really love 3D printing. I don't know if that was ever shared. I remember when I was younger, I asked for a 3D printer when I was like in middle school, and I ended up getting this like 3D printing pen. I don't know if you recognize that.
I do recognize that.
And
did it work as well as it was advertised?
No, it didn't.
I'm sure not.
Yeah, but it was being able to see the facility before I got there was really important because I could concentrate on the team members. And when I got to Willmar, the most important thing that I came for was to see how people interacted with each other and how they thought. And while they were interviewing me, I was also looking at what the environment was. And I can say every single person that works there, from manufacturing floor to the CEO and COO, they are all critical thinkers. And it's really amazing to be at a company that everyone is like that. I can't really think of anyone who is not loving their work, not critically thinking about tasks. Even if they're repetitive tasks, they're still conscious of those, and they're not letting their subconscious take mind when they're doing these tasks.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're here.
You're
in Willmar.
Yep.
We've got you. You're heading up Threedom. What's it like being a young professional in this small community? You kind of said you were from a small community, but this is a whole new place, you know?
Yeah. I think that I have not branched into the community a lot. I used to be very involved within my hometown. I would be on committees for events like Nordic Fest. I helped out with some booths. It's a summer activity. I'd volunteer at different areas. I haven't really gotten into that. However, I've had the lucky opportunity, my coworkers will steer me in the right directions. They'll say, hey, you should really go to the dog park. I have a dog. I hang out with her all the time. And I went to the dog park and I actually made friends. And so it's those kind of interactions that help facilitate interactions within the community, is the coworkers and the caring of the community that I'm in at work.
That's really cool. They do have a really great team.
They do, yeah.
It's very smart of you, like, just so forward thinking to look at how their relationships between each other, like looking at how their team operates when you came in for your interview, to kind of make sure, like, okay, yeah, this place is gonna support me.
Yeah,
as I'm moving in here.
Yeah, and something that I really enjoyed is one of the owners took about probably 5 hours over 2 days to just show me around Willmar. We drove around looking at all the spots, looking at the apartments that were available.
In a Jeep?
Of course, in a Jeep. And we even talked about the potential of Threedom, and it got me so excited about this area. Primarily because someone that they have a lot to do in their day took time to show the community and make sure that, you know, this is actually a place that is sustainable for you. It was putting not necessarily my skills or anything. It was more, will you be okay in this place? This is what we have. I'm going to tell you this is what we have. I'm going to follow up, letting you know these are the places. And that was really important to me, to have that connection, to really have that experience to confirm that this workplace cares about their employees. And that's something that's important.
Well, it's really smart of them too to show you the real area. You know, to not like, I don't want to say wrap it up in a bow, but like to not falsify where you're going to be coming to. Like, yeah, this is it. This is our small town. This is where you're going to be. If it doesn't feel right, this is a big part of your decision too.
I really value transparency. That is something that when I had my interview, I met with someone on the team and I said, what do you do for fun? And he looked at me, not joking. He said, oh, I pick up leaves. He picks up leaves for someone and his family. That's really fun for him. Oh no, I go to the cities or something like that. They're not lying. They're not like, oh yeah, there's so much to do. I go to this coffee shop. I do all of this. It wasn't like that. And that, when staff is not falsifying something, that's really important, because a lot of times some other interviews I had, it was like, oh, it's perfect. I don't think anything's ever perfect. And I really valued that.
Interesting.
Okay, so now that you've been here for a little bit, what do you not like about the small town?
I haven't met a lot of young people. I think that I might not be in the right area of meeting younger professionals. That's probably one of the main things. I do try to go to events here, like the Christmas lights. Someone mentioned those. I went to those, but I think that I just haven't found the community yet that is young professionals that are really thinking about the world in certain ways, and being able to have a job and responsibilities. So that's something that I think is lacking, but I think it might be more so on my end of not seeking that out as well as I do.
No, I think that you're accurate in that. I know that there's been different organizations that have tried to kind of coordinate young professional groups. I'm sure you're not alone looking for something like that, but I'm assuming everybody wants community, right?
Yeah, community is everything.
Right. All right, so now that we have you here, you're getting a little bit more settled into your position with Threedom. Where do you want to see Threedom moving forward to, or what's the path that you think you're going to be moving on?
I think in the next year, I have ranges of how I view Threedom. It depends on what lens. If I want to be really optimistic, I want to say that it's going to be the powerhouse of digital manufacturing. So being able to apply thousands of designs that people upload, and we're able to produce that on demand. That's like a dream. That's really optimistic. What I see in a year is we are providing tools for self-expression for the Jeep community. Being able to focus on the products that we have and launching a few more products, but being able to have a established brand, that branding sticks with individuals, and being able to provide in the Jeep community and being known for providing tools for self-expression. That is probably success in my mind at this moment.
Super exciting.
Heck yeah.
And really hitting that message of self-expression.
Yeah. Self-expression is pretty crucial, I think, to finding fulfillment in life.
You know, we just had a marketing program, and you shared that in-person interaction. What was it again?
Well, it was for B2B, but I believe it's across the board. It's going to be the top performing marketing strategy in-person events, which is, the underdog because nobody thought that would happen with COVID, repercussions. But I think it's almost the opposite in that it encouraged that to be more valuable now. So who knows how that trend will play out over the next few years, but that's what they're saying for 2024.
Wow. Looks like you're going to be hitting a lot more beaches.
Heck yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Earlier, Betsy and I were talking about with the addition of Emma to the Threedom team, that it was just such good timing for that branch of the business, because you were the disruptor, right? You got to jump in there and you shook it all up. Because how long has Threedom been around?
Going on 3 years. Yeah. Yeah, and we've helped with your marketing in the past. And I was saying to Gina, you did something I don't think anyone else could have done, including Red Star or me, in that you brought a completely new perspective and were the catalyst for change. And it needed to happen, and it wouldn't have happened without you, I don't think. So, pretty pivotal. Your impact is already happening, Emma.
Good. We hope to see more impact as well. But Red Star has been crucial to really helping transition the branding. So even though I might be someone that's working on it every day, I think helping with the videos that are coming out will really help establish the brand and the background. So.
But you saw the news story that needed to be told. You're the one that said, you know what, you guys were telling the wrong story. And you figured that out and were able, from your perspective, to re-engineer the story to better fit what success looks like. And I think it sounds like you got some of that perspective at the event as well, right? At the Threedom event in Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, timing was, I was just so lucky. The reinvention, joining the team when I did, and the event, all together, it gave me a new perspective. I came in wanting to expand the business, making it extremely successful, but finding the real purpose and why we're doing Threedom, that was the combination of everything, allow that to be flushed out. And that gives me incredible passion, which in turn gives me drive. But I think it connects customers, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think for a lot of our small businesses as they grow, it is easy to become removed from those front lines. And reconnecting with customers is the best way to get better perspective, re-engineer how your head's thinking about things, and that's what you did. You just got in there, and that was very much needed. I had never been to a Jeep event, and it was amazing how it informed my perspective. So,
well, one of our classes in reinvention, or one of the weeks, focuses on finding the right people like us, and you have the chance to call the customers, and we ask them different questions. And I know that you contacted a few of your customers, and I think when we go through the program, some of the businesses are like, "What? I talk to these people every day. I don't need to call them. I'm really busy this week," or "I'm not gonna do that." But when they do, it's one of the most impactful sessions that we have. What did that session do to you? Like, I know that you contacted a customer, and I remember when you came back, you were like, wow.
Yeah, I businesses that talk to their customers every day, they have that impersonal communication, and something that the e-commerce platform lacks is being able to communicate. We communicate through tools and not ourselves. And I had a few discussions with individuals that blew my mind. Like, the backstories of the Jeep community were fleshed out for me, and how supportive these smaller communities within Jeep communities are. They raise money for charities. They help each other when something happens, so if their house gets destroyed. But ultimately, they're really passionate about Jeeps. And I knew that people liked Jeeps. I didn't understand the passion. I didn't get the drive. And that was one of the first steps for me to understanding the Jeep community, is just seeing that, someone telling me what this Jeep community provides to them and how that is so important to them was one of the first steps of understanding the passion behind Jeep and the importance of that community for others. And so businesses that talk to their customers every day, you'll find out something you never knew.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get the opportunity necessarily to be like, how can we improve? What do you like? We don't say that to our customers. When I worked in a business to business or both business to consumer at DeCorah Tech, I never asked anyone that. I knew that there were improvements that could be made, but I never asked anyone. And thinking back, that would be such a powerful tool. And being able to ask a customer, even if you see them every day, you never see them or talk to them, you gain insight that you'll never have.
That's motivating. Are you guys listening? Do what Emma said.
For real.
Yeah.
But
for
also
real.
you learn so much about your business, but sometimes it's also kind of what, ignites the passion around what you're doing. You started your business for a reason, right?
Yeah.
You had a passion around what you're doing, and other people they're jumping on board with you. So to talk to them about where that passion comes from or why or how, it connects you a little bit more to your customers, but it also is connecting you a little bit more to your passion. And we just had another business that we talked with in a regroup, and totally get it this time of year is insanely busy. But our challenge to him was, when you have a chance, sit down and go talk to that customer. Go talk to your customers. Have a conversation.
Yeah. Right.
Not just the hurried interaction. Have a conversation.
Yeah, one thing I appreciate about you, Emma, is you're sort of a devoted learner, and which is why I think you're such a good culture fit, meaning you're just hungry to learn all the time about anything, and there's such a humility in that. And you're a very humble person, and I think it takes humility to say, you know what, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe there's something I can learn from my customers that I don't even understand. But I think sometimes it's easy to get overconfident as a business owner, and I think I know. I mean, obviously, look what I'm doing. I'm selling things to them, and they're buying them, so obviously I know. But there's a humility in saying, you know what, help me understand better. And that sort of fits your personality, which is something I appreciate about you a lot.
What are you most excited about for the next year?
Being able to ignite Threedom, in meaning that there's a lot of individuals that love the brand. Right now we have amazing reviews, we have amazing returning customers, but I want to reach markets that we have not reached before. That's probably my number one task this year, but also that is success for the year, is if we create turmoil for the company and we gain followers that are devoted to our purpose. I don't know if we necessarily say, yeah, our brand is built just to express yourself. I think that it's something that can be seen, and I think that's already known within the Jeep community. But this next year, I think, is crucial to the growth of the business in being able to capture the customers in the correct markets that we have not touched before. And so that's the next year.
What do you mean by create turmoil?
Create hype.
Yeah.
Create any successful business. When I look at for social media, you may have viral videos, you may not, but you have a loyal fan base, that you have a percentage of returning customers. We do have that, but they're the same. There was a movement that happened on a platform, the forums, that was extremely successful at the beginning of the business. We can see with data points, those forums are now not as effective. They are effective, don't get me wrong. We still get returning customers, we get new customers, but they're not what they were at first. Sure. And so we have to captivate new markets. And when we captivate new markets, we create turmoil, just like the forums did at the beginning. And so every stage of businesses, you have to ignite fire. If there's a new platform opening, ignite the fire. If there's a new strategy in marketing that's not, there's no reason not to try, because every opportunity is an opportunity worth trying. You're going to learn something. You're going to have results that you can compare to other analytics that you have. And I think that is the importance of marketing, is creating that turmoil.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like, I'm going to create turmoil at DI Labs because you're going to have so many key fobs to print.
Well,
it's going to be
yeah, I'm going to have
machines will be backing up.
yeah, we're going to have a color printer running 24/7 just for Threedom. I love that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I liked
but,
your description better. That made a lot of sense.
I'd love to have that, but realistically, having that brand recognition.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You have a very exciting year in front of you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, Emma, is there anything else that you wanted, that you feel like in this podcast, you're like, hey, you guys, you didn't give me the opportunity to talk about?
I think the only thing, if there's anyone listening to this podcast and wanting to...
If?
No, let me finish.
Oh, okay. Okay.
People who are listening to this podcast that have not attended Reinvention and who are struggling to find or ignite some spark within their business and they think something's lacking, Reinvention is the perfect way. And I'm not just saying it because this is a podcast focused on that.
But that's okay.
No, I really mean like that. It was really powerful, and being able to see the immediate turns that I've taken with some of the marketing tools that we have. We immediately change things the week after, but understanding the purpose and being reminded of the purpose, that is really crucial. I think other people in the Reinvention program I went through had that same exact feeling. And so anyone who's looking to reignite that passion should really check out the program. And thank you guys for having me on.
Aw, thank you. What advice would you give another young person like yourself searching for their place in the world?
Do what you're passionate about. I think a lot of younger people today, especially my friends who graduated college, they're still trying to find that perfect job. I started applying for jobs probably in September of the year the year before I graduated. I wanted to find somewhere that I really enjoyed. And I think young people now are looking for passionate work. I think if you're bored with your work, you're not going to perform well. And I think young people understand that right now. And so being able to make sure the fit is correct is important. But having something that means something to you is the most important thing. And I think my age recognizes that quite easily when they graduate, is I want to do something that I'm passionate about. If I'm not, I don't care. So I think that's young people just making sure that they're finding what they ultimately want to do, something that interests them.
Yeah, that's great advice, and also secondary advice for the business owners who want an Emma to come and work in their facility. You really have to recognize what they're looking for, and every business does have a purpose, but sometimes we're not good at communicating it and getting people behind it. And if you don't have that, if you can't do that, you're not going to get an Emma.
Yeah, so. I think there's a lot of hesitation in employing younger individuals that are just graduating. And I think that there's a impression that we don't work as hard. I know my dad's business, he had a couple of young people that sucked. They went on their phones, they didn't put the best effort they could forward. And I think that's just because they didn't have the job that they wanted. They were trying something, they wanted a job, they didn't find what they wanted, and they were like, I need a filler. And I know some of my friends feel the same exact way. They have a job, but they're not really passionate. So if you have a candidate that is really passionate, they're questioning about the process that you conduct business, I think that's a really key indicator that the individual will perform well, is if they're engaged in conversations and ultimately they have this look of just excitement. If you have excitement for a job, there's no better thing, right? Mm-hmm. You want to go to work every day. You want to make an impact. That's really important. So.
Mm-hmm. Perfect advice. We're going to get that out in the world so that everyone can hear it. Mm-hmm.
Well, we are extremely thankful that we got to recognize and see your passion and that you decided to come to Threedom and come to Willmar.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. We're thankful we get to be a part of your journey, and I'm excited to see where the next year goes. But I mean, I think that Threedom's very lucky to have you. I think that you feel like you're very lucky to have Threedom. It's a win-win situation, and I feel really fortunate that we get to follow this path that you're going to be going on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really fortunate to have the opportunity. So I look forward to seeing Threedom grow and the help of you guys, because you guys are critical to being able to see things that I do not see. So.
Well, let's do this, right?
Yeah, let's grow it.
Let's do it. We got a lot of work to do, but we're going to get her done.
Spark. Put that spark in the marketing.
Create
world.
the turmoil.
Turmoil.
All right.
Turmoil, here we come.
That's what we're doing. We're creating a positive dent on the universe and turmoil.
Yep.
Okay.
Lighting it up, but making it good. Starting
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. And to learn more about Threedom, we can go to your website. We can go to your social media on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
any platform. We have an account.
You are there.
All right. And
we
it's
are there.
At Threedom.
At Threedom or My Threedom.
Or My Threedom. Excellent. We'll go check it out.
Perfect.
Thanks, Emma.
Thank you guys.
Emma.